Hello, Style fans. Welcome to the earliest match of Style Esports we've had in a very long time. Welcome to the featured match of today. Asian Invasion takes on Mythic Reborn. We are down here in season 13 playoffs here, and we are ready to get this show on the road. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Tiger58, and here we are getting game number 1 underway. We've banned the cat. We've banned away the Shen. We're ready to get these picks and bans. We're ready to get this ban phase finished up in just a little bit here. Tiger, how you doing?
I'm pretty excited about this one. Like you said, we're in an afternoon, or if you're West Coast, even a morning matchup today.
Don't
So
remind me.
that's pretty exciting, pretty different. But we've had some pretty good matches this week. If you caught the matches Thursday or Friday, the season 13 playoffs are shaping up to be one of the most exciting seasons so far. So we'll see if this matchup can hold true to that fashion. We'll see if we're going to get 3 games here today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we are seeing some good League of Legends so far, like you said. I think the last match that you and I casted was just a real good show. Like, it was two very high level teams. We didn't see like a whole lot of brawling until one team was just like super far ahead of the other, right? Just a lot of very methodical play. But now we've got Asian Invasion here. We've got Mythic Reborn. Let's see what these two teams bring to the table now that we finally have these bans out of the way. Yumi, Victor, and Udi are banned away from Asian Invasion. Karma, Seraphine, and Shen banned away by Mythic Reborn. And we've got the Caitlyn first pick here.
Yeah, Caitlyn pretty strong as a first pickable champion. I wonder if we're gonna get a Lux to go alongside it. Definitely a strongest of early game combos between that Caitlyn and Lux. But you
Mm-hmm.
can work with other champions in support role as well, depending on what playstyle they want to go for. Can get some poke, can get some early game gank setup. A lot of directions that you can go, but Caitlyn definitely one of the stronger AD carries right now, and I like to see that one coming out early on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Caitlyn's a relatively strong pick. I think I'm gonna make a hard read here, and I think it's just because of how much um folks have been crying about or crying or just complaining about like how strong tanks are. I'm starting to think like maybe Caitlyn, maybe Lucian, maybe this AD carry meta has to change and swap into someone who can build into anti-tank items just a little easier. What do you think?
Well, you can always go for that LDR second, and that helps out a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. I was seeing some posts on Reddit earlier today that were showing the outrageous armor stats that you can get with Jack Show. You can get like over 9,000 armor sometimes. And I saw some people complaining about that. Uh, we've seen some other types of champions in that bot lane role recently. We've seen a little bit of Heimerdinger, some Syndra available as well,
Mm-hmm.
but going to be back with the marksman this game. We'll see if they're going to find some good usage here. I think that even though tanks are pretty strong, not all of the champions in the game are going to be tanks, so you can still have some pretty decent targets.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Nami lock in here for Asian Invasion, really smart play here, taking away that duo here from Lucian. You're still some good characters to pair with the Lucian, right? Just like that, we're going all the way back to season 4, baby. That's gonna be Braum locked in to pair with the Lucian here. This is a pairing that the second Braum was released, Lucian became the like the best AD carry in League of Legends.
Yeah, Lucian Braum never fall off in my mind. Really,
Mm-hmm.
it's always been a good pairing. Lucian Nami may be stronger in recent times, but you can still proc the concussive blows pretty easily as Lucian. So those two working together, I always approve of that bot duo. They should be a little bit outranged here, but they have some decent all in potential. And assuming that Frost is going to take this Trundle into the jungle, I think they're going to have the gank setup necessary to potentially look for some early all ins.
Yeah, and it does give Mythic Reborn a really solid level 1 here, right? Braum does give possibly the strongest level 1 in League of Legends. I'll argue that. Possibly the strongest one, right? Because you don't even need to level a specific ability in order to get that stun, right? All the Braum needs to do is auto attack one person one time, and that stun, that passive has a cooldown on each individual member of the enemy team rather than, you know, a duration on just on Braum itself. So just being able to spread those stuns at level 1 is pretty insanely powerful here. But we'll see if they do any level 1 shenanigans here. Syndra is going to be locked in for Mythic Reborn here as well. A good scaling champion to give them some kind of late game insurance as well. Let's see what Asian Invasion wants to answer with.
Yeah, right now Mythic Reborn are good at focusing down single targets. They picked up the Syndra ultimate, really good at executing one enemy champion. They've got the Trundle, the Subjugate. You can take away the resistances from one individual enemy champion. They're going to have a lot of opportunities to set up potentially picks here with this comp. I like the Fizz answer into Syndra. That should feel good in the lane. But I think that with the Echo as the jungle pick, there might be a lot of opportunity to build some magic resist. Although, that being said, there's not a whole lot of good magic resistant items for mages, so that's a little bit of hard to itemize that direction. But maybe some Merc Treads for WCAT would help out with the laning phase.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Fizz is one of the most frustrating characters to play against in League of Legends, in my opinion. That troll pull is so insanely powerful, just being able to dodge a lot of things pretty much on command. And, you know, having that sort of burst damage to follow up with the Echo, who's probably going into the jungle, is going to be pretty useful as well. So, a lot of solid power here for Asian Invasion. They have the strong initiation. They got some fancy feat characters as well, so it's a pretty exciting to see them how they're going to play around this as well. But Mythic Reborn also has a strong team fight with them as well, with Wukong being their final lock-in as well. We're looking at a pretty strong comps on both sides. What do you think? Do you have like a particular favorite so far with just the lock-in so far?
Well, I need to see which one is going to be jungle and which one's going to be top between Wukong and Trundle. I definitely think Mythic Reborn has a more classical style comp. They should be pretty good in team fights. The Wukong really rounds it out pretty nicely. But at the same time, Asian Invasion have a lot of skill expression in their champions, especially picking up the Fizz and Echo. That's going to give them some opportunities to look for some big outplays here. And picking up the Darius, that's always a champion that can look to 1v9 carry a team. They've got pretty decent early game with the Caitlyn Nami as well. So they've got kind of an interesting look to them. All in all, I'm not as big of a fan of it because I don't think that it has as much synergies as Mythic Reborn's comp, but I definitely think that there's some merit to what Asian Invasion has drafted.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. They have a lot more skill expression, right? When you have these kind of high, I want to say high skill ceiling characters, sometimes just utilizing the characters to their full potential is sometimes, you know, the big thing that separates the good players from the best players, right? Just that mechanical skill is very, very strong. You know, sometimes it's just little things that you can't notice with some of these characters here that separate the good players from the best players. But we're in Champ Select, so we'll finally see where these characters are going here. I am actually really looking forward to seeing how this Echo and Fizz play together for sure. Usually you only have like one kind of dive-heavy assassin on your team, but now there's two. But the big thing for me is that both these characters have really solid initiation as well. The Asian Invasion has some good follow-up to boot, right? Just using the Nami tidal wave to go off of like a Fizz fish is very, very good. So, you know, Asian Invasion does have a pretty strong team composition here, even though that's not 100% traditional, right? They're not going to be having anyone building the obscene tank items that we've been seeing so much of people talk about for the preseason here. But we'll probably see still a lot of pretty solid damage across the whole team here for sure. right? With all these bruisers and assassins.
Yeah, I do think that with that initiation that Asian Invasion have, I'm concerned for them that it's going to all get blocked by the unbreakable. Brahms E is just really good at shutting down, particularly the tidal wave, but you can really set it up and make it difficult for any of the long range abilities to hit. Can block a lot of the damage coming out from the Caitlyn as well. So I think that the Braum pick has just
Good to know.
aged like a fine wine here.
All my
It's
life
going to
has
be a
brightened
very
your day.
nice addition to the comp. It's going to work well. Like you said, the level 1, they're going to have opportunity to potentially look for a level 1 invade, but they're going to get into the late game, group up, and going to find some success, I think, in these team fights if they can force them. So it's just a matter, from Asian Invasion's perspective, if they can put themselves in a situation where they can force Mythic Reborn to scatter across the map, not allow them to team fight, or alternatively have AFK Shadow be so fed that on Darius he can just take over the whole team fight by himself.
Yeah, I mean that's another note to kind of take a look at, right? Darius can snowball this game super out of control, and I think I like that kind of insurance for Asian Invasion here. That if AFK Shadow is able to be Wukong in the top lane, that he can take a lot of that advantage into team fights, or even just decide to stay in the top lane, right? We still have that Hull Breaker item available for both for in this game, right? This is a game where we could see AFK Shadow just play a little bit towards his namesake, right, and just kind of sit up in the top lane, make Wukong's life a living hell as he just has to walk into 1v1 this Darius who's already far ahead and then has those additional stats from that Hull Breaker as well. Or we could see a Darius who's getting a pentakill with that full ultimate reset, right? Like these are two things that could happen if AFK Shadow gets a large enough lead out of this top lane here.
Yeah, that would be the optimal situation for Asian Invasion, but I don't think that will come by easily. The R5 counter pick was the Wukong in that top
Mm-hmm.
lane. I think Wukong's got a decent matchup with the stone skin, giving him a little bit of extra armor there. I think that having the Trundle as well should be pretty helpful in the matchup. If there's a 2v2 on the top side, should be looking pretty good. So we'll see if Lolo and Frost can kind of shut down AFK Shadow. But I do think that playing around the Darius on the top side makes some sense. I'm really curious to see what the pathing will be from Woshi Garvin on the Echo jungle with the new jungle changes in the preseason. Looks a lot different. Probably going to be a lot of full clears. Maybe we get some invade action, some skirmishing going on with Frost's Trundle being able to go around the map a little bit more. But I do think that having the Echo get to level 6 is kind of what you want to do as the Echo player. But really, I'm not entirely sure what the goal of the Echo jungle is at the end of the day, because you want to be in a situation where you can assassinate people, but that's not going to win the game by itself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, we'll probably get some full clears. I'm honestly expecting it. But the thing is that Woshi Garvin man, I'm blanking on the name real bad. Frost, yes, correct. Thank you. Are going to have some potential here to 1v1 because Trundle and Echo are both good at that. In these kind of early levels here, right? Because of those three hit passes that Echo has, and also the dueling potential and the high mobility he has. So it'll be interesting to see. I think the last thing I want to do here, I'm going to put you in the hot seat. Do you have a favorite coming into game number 1?
Yeah, I think that the team comp picked by Mythic Reborn, I'll give them 65% chance to win just based off of draft.
Ooh, 65. 65 is a pretty big number there. So okay. That seems like a good prediction. I think I'll join you in that one as well. I love me a Braum Lucian. Syndra has been looking pretty cool as well, so I have a lot of favorites on the Mythic Reborn team here. So we are going to jump to just a quick break. We'll come back in just a moment. And when we do, we'll be on the Rift of game number 1 of Asian Invasion versus Mythic Reborn. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, Style fans. Welcome back to Style Esports. Here we are on the Rift. Game number 1. Asian Invasion is on the blue side. Mythic Reborn is on the red. We are ready to get this game one underway. If you're seeing it for the first time and you're saying, why is this game paused? It's because there was an actual pause in game. So now we have to wait for the game to do its second unpause. So yeah, here we are, level 1. Gauche in some trouble here. That's going to be the concussive blows coming out. The stun is good. The rest of the team is here. First blood drawn by MT Mythic Pico there.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate to get stuck there, but given the first kill over, onto this Lucian, gonna feel good for Pico. We'll see if that ends up becoming more gold going into the bot lane. We'll see if that changes up the matchup, because I was thinking already that Ghost should probably have the range advantage, so the poke battle going to be won out here by the bot lane of Asian Invasion. But getting that early kill means an extra longsword, an extra potion. That will help mitigate some of the poke and potentially set up some all-ins at early stages. And Lucian and Braum don't need to get very high level to have that all-in available.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the all-ins is always something you have to watch out for in Lucian lanes here, especially at level 2s here. Caitlyn is not going to have as strong a level 2 as Lucian is, especially with the Braum there as well. So important. We're going to have to keep our eyes on that bot lane there, because even though that first blood did go over to Pico, Pico is going to have a bit of a damage advantage. Like you said, Caitlyn does still have that range advantage. She has the longest range of any auto attacks in the game, so she's going to have to leverage that to her advantage down the bottom lane there.
Yeah, we'll see if we're already getting some damage onto Matthew. We'll see if that's going to become a problem, because while Caitlyn has a pretty big range advantage, Nami doesn't have such a large range advantage, so we'll have to keep an eye on the spacing going on between these two supports, because I think that Barcode and Pico have the opportunity to potentially focus on towards Matthew to try to pick up the kill onto the enemy support.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, it is going to be still an issue for this Nami here, that she has to watch how she positions herself, especially not to be hit by those concussive blows. And right as I say that, she gets hit by the Q there. But that's going to be important, right? Because like you said, doesn't have that range advantage, so can be very susceptible to this Lucian all-in if Braum hits them with one of their Qs or even an auto attack.
Yep, so that's something to keep an eye out on. But other than that, I don't think that we're going to be seeing too much spicy action early on in this game. Could get some battles in the top lane, 2 bruisers, so if they decide to go deep on a trade, could result in a kill. But it looks like Frost wants to find a gank in the bot lane.
Oh, yeah, they're flashing for it too. Barcode jumps right in here. Frost is going to be bubbled up. This is going to be the answer from Woshi Garvin here, but a good dash away from Pico here. Barcode taking incredibly low, and Braum is going to go down in the bot lane here. That's going to be a kill brought over to Asian Invasion here. They're not going to be able to continue that gank there. They are going to be able to grab that kill for themselves, continue to even out this gold here in this match. As WCat in a whole lot of trouble here, forced to flash away from Hong Kong player in the mid lane as Woshi Garvin dives onto Frost into the jungle here, throws out the Trundle Pillar to give him some space. Looks like that's going to be enough. I'm not going to look for the Gromp just yet. It looks like they're just going to let that reset and come back to it later.
Yeah, a nice little counter gank there by Woshi Garvin. Barcode jumping forward with the flash, with the W, not able to find any escape tools, so as soon as that... Oh, we got a gank in the mid lane.
Yeah, WCat doesn't have that flash anymore, so Woshi Garvin just swoops right in from the side, and they're just going to be able to find that kill right there in the mid lane.
Yeah, so another kill. Good ganks going down early from Woshi Garvin. Looking at make it 3.
Yeah, Woshi Garvin just making his way all across the map here. Woshi Garvin around the world in 80 days. Gonna be able to get a gank successfully in every single lane.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Good stuff early on. Also with a slight CS advantage. About 2 camps up for Woshi Garvin. And having those at 2 extra kills, we see the first reset, getting a Dark Seal, clearly not done picking up kills just yet, and looking to start setting up.
WCat's in some more trouble here, taking a whole bunch of damage. That Fizz passive is so strong there. That DOT is going to cause just so much problems for WCat here, along with all the burst damage that the Hong Kong player has on this champion as well. WCat without a flash in this lane is just so tough to even just try to get stacks on Syndra right now.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if that's going to continue once the level 6s come through. I think WCat should be able to fight back a little bit better once the upgrades start coming in. But like you're saying, it's hard to get the upgrades if you can't fight in the first place.
Yeah. And that's really the biggest change for Syndra here, right? Like, oh, wait a minute. Lolo props out the ultimate here. Might be able to duel AFK Shadow 1v1, but the knockups are too good. Lolo comes out here real nice. Going to be able to return that kill from before onto the Darius, drawing out the Ghost as well.
Pretty bold of Shadow to try to start that fight despite being down a level, and that level being 6 versus 5. Lolo able to make use of the Cyclone, able to pick up that kill, and start getting a little bit back to the top.
No, WCat chummed the waters. He's stunned up underneath his own turret too. WCat's gonna go down here. I did want to mention here, this actually kind of shows the weakness of Syndra now after post rework, and the Hong Kong player doing a real good job of taking advantage of that in this mid lane.
Yeah, Syndra, usually a decent blind pick because she's pretty decent in the early game against most champions, but the Fizz seems to be a pretty hard counter. I don't know the matchup myself, but the way that Hong Kong player is playing it, it's working very well in counteracting everything that WCat wants to do on this champ.
Yeah, I think it's mostly because a lot of folks have gotten too comfortable with people playing things like Victor, right? Like, I feel like we've gotten too many similar champions to Syndra in the mid lane that we've seen in the meta recently, that, like, we haven't seen a whole lot of characters that are like, hey, my level 1, 2, 3 are insane, right? But now, bottom lane, this level 5 is going to be insane. Pico taking Matthew really, really low here. Ghosh just not able to help out their support there. It's just going to be an easy 1-2 punch for the red team down in the bottom lane there.
Yeah, able to punish that flash that they got earlier. Barcode died in the initial fight, but did get the flash off of Matthew, so coming back around to collect on that. Frost not giving up so early on.
Yeah, Woshi Garvin now going up to the top lane here. Not going to be able to land that stun, but Lolo dives right back in. AFK Shadow's in some trouble. Might go down to the turret. It's going to be a yes on that one, so it ends up being a 1-for-1 up at the top lane here. Is WCat looking for a kill on the Hong Kong player, but it does not have that stun available anymore. But here comes Barcode in from the bot lane here, but it's going to force the fight out of Hong Kong player here. They've taken already WCat pretty low here, and Ignite is taken as well. That passive comes out. That's going to be the Syndra ultimate. Can they get the kill before they go down?
Oh.
That's going to be the Chum the Waters that came out of just the last moment. Hong Kong player is going to be able to turn that into a 1-for-1.
A nice trade there from a Hong Kong player despite the gank coming down. But it could have been worse. WCat, just at the moment that the ult was back up, immediately pressed it. And if it wasn't for it coming back up that very second, any longer, and it wouldn't have been up. So that would have meant Hong Kong player probably would have gotten out with just a solo kill 1v2. So really well played by Hong Kong player. WCat able to turn it back around though, equalize, and now the objectives traded around the map. So the game's stabilized a little bit since the early triple gank.
Yeah, now AFK Shadow's in some trouble here as Lolo looking for the reactivation on the Cyclone. Going to be able to get it here. Mythic Shadow, AFK Shadow taking incredibly low, and they're going to be able to take them down up in the top lane. More domination by Mythic Lolo here.
Yeah, and that's going to be another wave and a half lost as well. So AFK Shadow having a little bit of a rough time in this top matchup. Lolo looking good.
Yeah. They're looking for a kill down to the bot lane here. Ghosh is going to be able to flash away, but let's see if Pico's going to be able to find something on a Matthew here. They have spent 2 ultimates down there, but haven't been able to get a kill. But these blue team members are below half HP. Something to keep our eyes on as it looks like Echo is coming into the bot lane here. Trundle was backing, but now immediately cancels that as Woshi Garvin dives onto the backside here. Not going to be able to find Pico, but Barcode is taken incredibly low here. They're going to go down, and another successful gank for Woshi Garvin here.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if this isn't the time to drop that Rift Herald just picked up on the top side of the map. could get some extra gold into Ghosh's pocket. I think that would have been a pretty decent play. Holding on to it for now, though. We'll see where it does end up getting dropped. Hopefully gonna get some value. Maybe some mid lane plates would be all right as well. Hong Kong players in a good spot. But they're kind of just stabilizing now at 2k gold lead. We'll see if that's going to be enough to carry them through the mid game.
Yeah, for sure. It is important to note that they, AFK Shadow might be in some trouble here, forced to flash away from them there, but it is important to note that Rift Herald only brings one plate here, so this is going to be the time to hit them here. Pico finally going to be able to get away from all this EC, but he can't get away from the ace in the hole. Ghosh finally able to put themselves a little bit more higher on the scoreboard here. 2-1 now on this Caitlyn here. They're going to pop the Rift Herald like you suggested down in the bottom lane. And now we're going to see if we can get this first turret down to the bottom half of the map here.
They were just waiting to get the better plates with it, the harder to take ones. AFK Shadow going to get dove under the tower, it looks like.
Yeah, he's going to walk right into Frost and Barcode here. AFK Shadow, nowhere to go. He gets a big heal, though, but it's not going to save him this time. Frost is going to be the one picking up the kill in the top lane.
Yeah, going to get a few more turret plates off of that. Keeping it a little bit close, but the first turret goal going over to Ghosh, going to be doing a lot of work here. Also, we got a few stacks on that Dark Seal of Woshi Garvin that are going to help keep this gold lead maybe even more valuable than it initially looks.
There's the Chum the Waters has been thrown out here. That's going to be the Glacial Fissure coming across as well, but Woshi Garvin has joined the fight here. Hong Kong player and Woshi Garvin looking for a little bit more here. They're not going to be able... Oh, okay, there it is. Barcode is not going to be able to get away from this one here. 2 kills up in the top lane. They protect the turret as well. They're going to be able to avenge their friend. The top lane.
That's some absurd damage. That was like at least 400 with just the second cast of the E, or the enhanced auto attack part of the E anyways, from Woshi Garvin. Able to take out Barcode, able to take out basically the entire squad so far for Mythic Reborn, and Asian Invasion in a good spot now.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a very solid spot right now. 5.2 thousand gold in the lead. Asian Invasion at about 12 minutes, 45 seconds here. This is a really good... This is an insane gold lead at this stage of the game. 5,000 gold ahead at this stage. Like, this is really, really tough to deal with if you are the side of Mythic Reborn here. It looks like, do you think we just have to start hard itemizing for the magic resist here in order to deal with the Echo?
I'm not entirely certain which way they should go. I think that they outscale anyways, so if they wanted to change their build path up a little bit to get some of those magic resist items, that would be okay. But I think that they also want to get their damage items so that they aren't going to be in a situation where they completely can't kill Woshi Garvin, and then they're just having to deal with Echo doing a bunch of damage and then pressing R and being fine.
No, Pico getting hit by just the corner of the Chum the Waters there. Hong Kong player is going to be on a killing spree, picking up the kill onto Lucian there, and it looks like Syndra might be the next on this list. So they're trying to take down that top tier turret up there.
Yeah, it's going to be this Drake taken now by Woshi Garvin, going to equalize. I don't know if we're going to get an engage here. Definitely could happen.
With that, there's the Glacial Fissure. They're looking for AFK Shadow here. They're going to be able to get that gold right there. Now that the Tidal Wave is going to keep them away, and good bubble as well. Lolo taking incredibly low, and that's going to be Woshi Garvin diving in right here. They're going to be taking incredibly low. It's 2 for 1 in this mid lane here. They're going to be able to find a shutdown onto Woshi Garvin here. Nice chunk of gold. They're looking for Ghosh, though, and here comes Hong Kong player in from the side, but they don't need him. Matthew Bobo is going to be the one picking up the kill in the mid lane there. It's going to even out this trade, and might give some priority on the blue team here to push in this mid turret.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate on the back end of that play for Mythic Reborn. They had the 2 for 1. They're looking for more now.
Oh, yeah, Barcode is insanely low, though. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana on WCAT either, so it looks like they're just going to have to back away. Might have to concede this turret as well.
Yeah, I think that's going to have to happen here. Ghosh doing pretty good work on the Caitlyn since the level 1 death, 3-0-3. And now we got to dive.
No. Okay, that's going to be a good stopwatch there, but Hong Kong player's ready to dive, goes underneath the turret. That's going to be the Q coming out. It's going to be red turret destroyed for the blue team here as they continue this rampage in this early game here. Now nearly 6,000 gold up. Woshi Garvin looking for the dive on a W cat here, but going to press that ultimate immediately as he gets any sort of answer.
Yeah, alright. Not so bad on the defense there from Mythic Reborn. But pretty measured on the attack as well from Asian Invasion.
Now looks like we're going to get another engage here. That's going to be Mythic Frost just snared up at the tail end of that bubble there. Not going to be able to truly answer this, and they might even get a much longer push onto this mid-tier 2 here, because here comes AFK Shadow as well.
Yeah, it's just been kind of a sustained pressure here on the mid lane. With all of the kill potential that they have, Asian Invasion is making the most out of the strengths of their draft. Even without getting AFK Shadow ahead, they have successfully won out on the early game. They're going to get the second Rift Herald. We'll see if they can use it to continue to push. But being up by more than 6,000 gold, always going to put your team in a better spot. Almost 7,000 gold at this point, and they've got the Rift Herald to make it even further. We'll see if they can use that one to set up another Drake. They aren't stacking them particularly fast with the first two being traded, but the Mountain Soul would make them very hard to kill, and I think that when you're ahead and you're hard to kill, that's the most devastating combination to have to play against.
Yeah, for sure. Is now, like you said, ahead, hard to kill, right? That is going to be the big thing. And a lot of these teams, like, it's not like they're tanky, right? It's just that they're so slippery or they're so long range, right? It's really hard to truly lock them down in some of these cases here. And while Mythic Reborn here does have the CC in order to do it, we'll see it right here. Hong Kong player. Yes, to invade that's a little bit there. The Chum the Waters comes out, but not going to be able to save them here. Woshi Garvin has dived in here. It's going to be looking for Mythic Frost. Good block by Lolo there. Going to pop the ultimate for a little bit of damage and healing. Now Mythic Frost in some trouble here. Going to get flashed and dove by Woshi Garvin here, and here comes the rest of the team. Knocked into the air. Lolo forced to flash away. Now they're looking for more. That's going to be the big bat putting down the stun circle, but Lolo's long gone. So Woshi Garvin's not going to be able to find the kill onto them this time.
Yeah, 1 for 1. That's a pretty good pick off. Able to get a little bit of gold. I think there was a slight shutdown on Hong Kong players, so that's going to feel nice to get. But now the answer is going to be just hard pushing towards this bot lane. Should be able to pick up the tier 2. Probably going to get another charge as well if they want to continue pushing forward. So we'll see just how deep they can go.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get a significant amount of value out of this first Rift Herald here. And this is kind of the, this is what I assumed that they were looking for in this game here, right? Like, if you were going to look for a scaling comp with this Syndra, with this Braum, right? We are going to punish you in these early lanes here, right? We're going to punish you in these early lanes, and they've been able to do that pretty successfully, right? With the Fizz, with the Echo here, Woshi Garvin has been all over the map, and now with this upgraded blue companion, they are now insanely fast as well. So it's truly going to be hard to deal with a lot of this roaming pressure that that Asian Invasion have put together here.
Yeah, speaking of the companions, we named the Scorch Claw the red companion Steven. Do you want to have the honor of naming for the Style Esports broadcast the blue companion?
Oh, the blue one. Okay, so the first one's Steven, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it's for the broadcast, it at least has to be a name that's like easy to say. It's gotta feel. I gotta feel the vibe. It's a fast one. It gives you a lot of movement speed. Hold on, we got a Hong Kong player looking for Frost here. Might be able to actually find it. Chum the Waters comes across, but the damage is already pretty good. There's gonna be the tidal wave coming out from Nami. Gonna be able to give Hong Kong player a little bit of movement speed and space. Gonna come back. Okay. Blue companion. Man, that's a tough one. I probably would have gone with Steven if Steven hadn't been taken, because I feel like the red one I would have gone with Kyle.
Well,
you know what?
Late now. All right.
Yeah,
It's already
is it too late? I'm gonna say it's Stephanie. That's Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Yeah, we're gonna keep with the S theme here because S for Smite.
I can't wait to find out what the green companion is named on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. All right, well, Stephanie doing some good work alongside Woshi Garvin here. Definitely helping to pick up some of these kills. 6, 1, and 7. That's 13 out of 15 on the kill participation. Definitely has been running this game so far and taking a bunch of objectives. I mean, right now the turret scores 5-1. The Drake count is 2-1. Both Rift Heralds have also gone over to Asian Invasion. They're starting to run out of things to take without going in towards breaking the base. I think that with their massive gold lead, I would expect that they could put a lot of pressure around the Baron. They've got a pretty decent take. It's not the healthiest, but they do have a Nami, so it's kind of all right. And maybe they could kind of try to sneak that one if they get one pick for sure. I would expect them to be able to take it.
Yeah, for sure. Is now I'm trying to see at least Hong Kong player kind of trying to clear out a lot of the vision here because they are looking for the Baron and they are going to start it up. So a lot of blue vision control for Asian Invasion here as Mythic Reborn looks to maybe answer. They do have a teleport for Lolo here, but a good tidal wave onto Frost. They have a teleport that has been interrupted by Draven. So now if they want to get into this pit, they're really going to have to commit in order to fighting, but it doesn't look like they can. So blue team is going to be able to pick up the Baron Nashor. This time Chum the Waters comes out from Fizz there, but not going to be able to land onto anyone just yet. So it's going to be a Baron up push from Asian Invasion.
Yeah, that was a really weird place for AFK Shadow to be, but it worked out perfectly. He was able to apprehend Lolo out of the teleport, going to be able to set up the team to finish off that Baron, and Mythic making the call not to go in, not to try to find a flash smite steal. I think that I'm okay with that, but now they're going to have to show that they can defend against what is going to be a pretty strong siege with a Caitlyn.
Yeah, they're looking for a dive on a Gauche as well, but they weren't able to land a lot of their CC, and now look at the return damage from this Caitlyn as well. You know, they might have been taken down in the early game here, but ooh, yeah, the flank, you were right. There's going to be Lolo diving in right here. They're going to be looking for Gauche. The shutdown is going to be brought onto Frost here as Woshi Garvin joins the rest of the fight here as well. Dives right in. Lolo takes a decent chunk of damage. Here comes the rest of the team. Going to have to back away. Being able to take that one kill is going to be their prize for this fight. I don't think they want anything more off of that.
Yeah, this is good. They're learning from their mistakes. They had an earlier fight where they got the early advantage. They got like a 2-for-1, but overstayed around the mid-tier 1 tower. They didn't do that this time. At the end of the day, the split push from AFK Shadow able to yield that inhib tower. That's going to give them a lot of pressure.
Yeah, Biko here trying to live through Woshi Garvin damage, but that ultimate from Echo is going to mean that he can get out and live through a lot of whatever else they can throw at him here as Mythic Frost trying to survive against Hong Kong player and Matthew up in the top lane here. But man, this 1-3-1, this split push from the blue team might be too much for the red team to handle right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Gauche isn't coming up to join the push, but still able to get that tier 2 top. They're looking to push towards the inhib in the bot lane as well, get some damage down on the mid tier 3. Drake's coming up in about 10 seconds, so they should be able to look towards that one. And they're starting to counter jungle as well, to take away those extra resources. Gold leads up to 11k. Things are looking really good right now for Asian Invasion.
Yeah, Asian Invasion insanely powerful right now. If we take a look at the gold, they're up nearly 10,000. They're up more than 10,000 gold here as well. It's 10 and some change. And this is the gold lead where you're just like, okay, you know, maybe we should start thinking about game number 2, right? Because it takes a comedy of errors in order for you to get the gold into a state where, you know, it's in a place where you can come back from, right? It's just looking too it's just looking a little awkward for the red team right now. If they get a full clear, like if they get an ace they still have to spend so much time just shoving out waves in order to even get to these tier 1s that I don't know if they'll able to take a full capitalization off of it.
Yeah, their wave clear is okay, so they're gonna have an opportunity to try to stall this game out for a little while. Baron buff already wore off. It was just that one inhib tower that got taken down, but they can't really afford to get any further behind, or else I think that you would be correct that they're in a situation where it would take a comedy of errors. I think they still
Yeah.
got a shot though.
Yeah, that's going to be the ultimate, though, from Echo there. Going to be able to pick up the kill onto Lolo in the top lane as AFK Shadow now joins the fight. Frost looking for a little bit more. This might be the last-ditch effort in order to salvage this game, but the CC from Asian Invasion is way too good. Look at this, underneath the turret, WCat still facing the pain from that laning phase, as well as Pico trying to flash away, not going to be able to get away. Triple kill for Woshi Garvin up in the top lane, too. They've got the inhibitor. They've got a wave in the bot lane. Let's see if they're looking to end the game now.
Yeah, I think that they might be able to. It's 14 seconds on Lolo, and everyone else is coming up after that. It's a 5v0. Just got to clear out the minions, get in towards those Nexus towers. And they're not going to be able to finish it before the respawns happen, but I think that they should be able to after.
Yeah, it's 5-on-1, 5-on-2, 5-on-3, but it doesn't matter because that Nexus is going down, and Asian Invasion takes game number 1 in this best of 3.
Yeah, I was really impressed with Woshi Garvin. The early game, Echo isn't one of the champions that I associate with being a strong anchor, but man, going to all three lanes consecutively and picking up kills in all of them, that's just absurd. Fantastic play there, and Asian Invasion definitely deserving of the game 1 victory.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Woshi Garvin was a big MVP for that game, number 1 there. Like you said, just being able to walk from bot to mid to top and getting a kill every single time set their laners just so far ahead. And even though Lolo up in the top lane was able to fight AFK Shadow fairly well, it's still just insanely close here up in that top lane. And even though Mythic was able to get that first blood, usually that smells victory, right? I think we've said in the past that like if your team gets first blood, you have a higher chance of winning the game, right? And that just did not happen this game here. It just, you know, they just weren't able to find the same advantages across the lane. The early game was way too good from Asian Invasion here, and it's like they were not able to seal the deal.
Yeah, but they're gonna get another opportunity here in the next game. I think that with the way that Lolo played that out, if they can get counterpick top again, maybe just find ways to shore up the weaknesses from the early game around the rest of the map, then they're still in good position to potentially come back in this series. I think that this is the type of game where you just look at it and say, we blew the early game, and everything from there on out, there's just nothing that we could do. So I think that there should still be opportunity left. This is the 4th seed versus the 5th seed in the Ionia region, which is going to have another round of the Rumble stage after this one. So
Mm-hmm.
this is one of the biggest regions. But one of the closest matchups within the Ionia region. So I think that I would like to see this be a close matchup to reflect those seedings.
Yeah, I think we always want to see a game 3 here. So let's put those hands up for Mythic Reborn here in order to give us a game 3. We're going to jump into just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be in picks and bans of game number 2 of Mythic Reborn versus Asian Invasion. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by, oh, excuse me, Tiger58. As here we are in picks and bans of game number 2 of Mythic Reborn versus Asian Invasion. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, Asian Invasion is up 1 game over Mythic Reborn right now. They did have a very strong showing in game number 1 after having a very strong early game for them here. As now, let's see if they're going trying to run the same composition back, or whether we'll see the Mythic Reborn give them enough of a curveball that they won't be able to find a victory in game number 2 here. So Mythic Reborn, we're looking to bring us to game number 3 here. Let's see if they're able to do it. Tiger58, what do you think they need to do, starting with the draft, in order to turn this series around?
Well, I think that Mythic Reborn had a pretty decent comp last time around. I was trying to think of some ideas of how to deal with an Echo jungle. And they could have just banned the Echo away, but they didn't. So I think that when you look at a situation where game number 1, you picked the Trundle into it, Trundle probably should win a lot of those early skirmishes that you're going to have in the jungle, but Echo is going to be a quick clearer and be able to get into some lanes to set up some ganks. Obviously, a little bit better with the ganks than even I had expected. But I guess we're not going to see the Echo jungle again this game because it's going to be Hecarim instead.
Yeah, and the problem here is that even though this isn't an Echo, I still feel like this is relatively the same jungler, right? This is a high mobility champion that has some pretty good clears. I would argue better clears than the Echo, right? That has lots of dive potential, right? This is kind of if this is Woshi Garvin like showing us how he likes to play, this is definitely more and more similar champions here. Now he doesn't have the most amount of play on Hecarim in Season 12, but this is still just a really, really strong champion and definitely shows how he likes to play, right? I want to dive you underneath the turret. I want to get through my jungle as clear as fast as possible. Then I want to start diving people underneath the turrets. I think if Woshi Garvin were to pick a champion that wasn't Echo, that could do the bot lane to top lane full clean sweep one more time, I think Hecarim would be able to.
Yeah, I do like the Hecarim a little bit more from a competitive standpoint as well. Hecarim's engaged, definitely more team-wide and able to come out quicker. So when you're looking to set up a play, Hecarim's going to do that well. The one thing that Hecarim doesn't do as well as Echo is escape death. Echo obviously having the uh-oh button. Hecarim no such luxuries, but I think that having the Hecarim should be an improvement, maybe even over the Echo, which is hard to say when you just watched an 11-1 Echo pop off all over the map.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're not going to have as much hard carry potential on the Hecarim than you would on the Echo, but I definitely still think that this is a very strong pick for Woshi Garvin here, so we'll see how it locks in. I do want to talk about the rest of the picks we've got here. We've got a Graves and a Rel for Mythic Reborn, and we have a Karma and a Silas for Asian Invasion here. We see the Ezreal banned away by Asian Invasion here, against Asian Invasion here, some more AD carry bans. We're going to see the Darius banned away from AFK Shadow as well, especially after the Wukong ban from Mythic Reborn here. So let's see how they're going to answer, but it looks like it's just more hard carry, 80 carries in the bot lane there.
Yeah, I think that picking the Seraphine's pretty good here for Mythic Reborn on the first pick. They banned it out last game, so obviously their read is that Seraphine is the strongest first pick available in the meta. We'll see if they can pay that off. Having the Graves alongside it, I think that it's going to be the Seraphine mid lane most likely. Could use it in the bot lane up against a lot of poke, though. I mean, having some Enchanter style to yourself definitely works well into that. So I would be into moving the Seraphine to that bot lane role alongside the Rel, and then picking up a mid laner to answer into Silas.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be the Anivia maybe here. Okay. This is going to be another lock-in, another immobile mage with some fairly solid wave clear. Going to be here for WCat. Anivia should be able to at least deal with the Silas come level 6, But everything before then, we're gonna have to see how boring Anivia wants to play it, right? Because that's how a lot of the answers, a lot of these answers to melee dive champions usually are, right? How boring are you willing to play?
Yeah, I mean, you're not probably going to see a lot of stuff going on in the mid lane. I think that once the level 6 hits, that's a pretty oppressive matchup for the Anivia. So I think WCAT should be able to get advantages in that lane. Should work well with the Graves too. Obviously, having the different damage types works very much in their favor. And having to blind top, I think Gnar is a classic top lane blind pick. So
Mm-hmm.
Lolo looked good in game number 1 on the Wukong. Definitely played the lane out pretty well. We'll see if the Gnar is going to have the same effect.
Yeah, now we're seeing a Pantheon locked into the top lane here for Asian Invasion here. At least that's my assumption. At least, I think this is mostly fine into the Gnar. Gnar doesn't typically build a whole lot of armor in the early game, so if Pantheon is able to get an early serrated Dirk, which is a lot of Pantheon builds we've been able to see recently, this is probably going to be a pretty strong lane for Pantheon. The only and you know, he does have the shield in order to block a lot of range damage during trades with the Gnar. But I think the biggest problem with Gnar isn't like his trades. It's how often he's able to just kind of throw auto attacks kind of blindly at you, right? And this is kind of just what is going to be the issue for Pantheon, right? He has a very low attack range, right? He's a melee champion, gonna have to play in the wave, whereas Gnar can play pretty far back and auto attack you from range and get that harass damage a whole lot.
Yeah. Interestingly, this is a full swap of champion select from game number 1. 0 champions that were played in game number 1 will be here on the Rift in game number 2. So that always spices the series up a little bit. I definitely think that Mythic Reborn sticking kind of to their initial plan of looking more towards team fights, maybe get some advantage for Frost in the jungle on this Grave. But Asian Invasion, I think that they've upgraded their comp from last game, but it does the same thing better than their initial comp. I like that they've added some poke in the Varus Karma. They were able to have the Nami Caitlyn lane do pretty well in the last game, but Varus Karma definitely has even more synergy and even more poke potential, so I think that they should be able to push. Even though Seraphine's got some enchanted potential, they should be pushing back the lane of the Seraphine Rel. They're going to be in the mid lane looking at Sylas into Anivia, which isn't the best of matchups, but Sylas definitely works well with Hecarim in the potential of looking for some dives. And then they've got the Pantheon in the top lane, which maybe not going to be the best matchup in lane, but having the cross-map potential of just dropping your ulti and showing up in the mid lane, that's going to help them out as well. So they may just look for like 3-man dives starting up in the mid lane, and then use that to move towards some objectives.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is looking, like you said, Asian Invasion basically, for the most part, I'll say, locked in like a more traditional 5v5 as opposed to like a solo lane kind of comp here. I mean, the Pantheon is like the only odd one out in terms of that, but like this is more similar to what we've seen from like coordinated fives compositions, right? Not a whole lot of assassins, not like every single lane needs to be a playmaker, right? But Sylas, really good counter pick into the Rel, into the Seraphine, and then got better once the Gnar got locked in as well, which is huge because the big difference between Gnar and Sylas is that if Gnar accidentally shows up to a fight or just, shows up to a fight in general and doesn't have the Gnar bar filled, Sylas can still use the Mega Gnar swipe without needing to have that bar fully filled. So these are lots of good ultimates for Sylas to take here to really help out his team or even secure kills for himself.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I think that with the rework Rel ult as well, that's going to be maybe there's so many good ones, but that's the one that I've got my eyes on to make a big difference out of the team fights. I'm not exactly sure what the AP ratio on that is, Sometimes there's some support abilities that just have strangely high AP ratios, and it's on champs that like don't build AP. Like I know that Leona ultimate definitely does, uh,
Hmm.
but whatever the case, even if it doesn't have high AP ratio, setting up a stolen magnet storm into the onslaught of shadows, that's going to be pretty big. They've got a good layering of ultimates. They've got some competitive level 5v5s here. I think that we should be seeing maybe bigger fights this game. We saw a lot of just picks last game. There weren't, I don't know if there were any like full on 5v5s, but that's definitely more on the table this game.
Yeah, for sure. I did also give it a quick look, and Rel's Magnet Storm has a 13.75 AP damage scaling per tick of her ultimate. So every single second, the next 2 seconds, yeah. So every 0.25 seconds for 2 seconds, you take ticking magic damage, which is 15 base. It scales to 13.75% of your AP. So Silas, with that Rel ultimate, really charged to do a whole lot of damage if we see a repeat performance from the mid lane of Asian Invasion.
Yeah, quick math. Is that 108% if all 8 ticks land? Is that right?
I, I'm fairly
108%.
certain that sounds about right. Look, I'm not gonna question you. I'll have to pull out a calculator in order to question it. So I'm not gonna. You got it. You got.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, we'll see if there's going to be any big magnet storms. What ultimates that Hong Kong player wants to take away from the Mythic Reborn comp, and whether they're going to be able to force us into a quick 2-0, or if it's going to be Mythic Reborn coming out on top here, setting us up towards a game 3.
Yeah, so we are going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the rift of game number 2, Mythic Reborn versus Asian Invasion game number 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports. We've got a level one more time looking for barcode here, but I think it might have bitten off a little bit more than they can chew. Didn't get the crash down, so their horse is now pants. Not gonna be able to continue that gank as much as they'd like. So, here we are. We're back in the Rift. If you're joining us for the first time, my name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Tiger58 on the blue side. Is Mythic Reborn. On the red side is Asian Invasion. We're in game number 2 here, and this red team is poised to give us is looking to close this series out, while the blue team is looking to give us a game number 3. Tiger, are you ready?
Yeah, I think that we should get a pretty good match here. I always like to see the big 5v5 team fights, so a little bit sad that we didn't see that last match. Obviously, a fantastic play from the side of Asian Invasion, not going to make that a necessity, and they closed it out pretty cleanly. But this time around, hopefully, we're going to be able to find some more big team fights.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this is looking to be more of a traditional 5v5 composition here from Asian Invasion here, so maybe we'll see it this time round. Um, Once again, we're seeing some interesting lanes come out here, especially the Seraphine Rel down in the bot lane for Mythic Reborn here. We did note for a second that Pico had started the game with a Spell Thief's Edge, and while we were paused and syncing up our video, we were like, is this a thing? Is this double support items back?
I'm glad to hear that it's not back. I think that double support items was pretty toxic for the game. I think that having Seraphine build regular items is also fine. Like, you don't need to have double support items to let double support bot be kind of okay. It just forces them to actually clear the waves effectively to have gold, which I think is healthy for the game. But I think that with that in mind, it's a little bit difficult to clear the waves effectively when you're up against a poke comp like this.
Yeah, this is kind of the big problem with taking double supports, right? You don't have a whole lot of early pressure against this lane, and Varus might not have the best level 1 in the game, might not be like the best level 2, AD carry, but still, this long range and not really being able to itemize into defenses so early, plus the karma poke damage as well, means that you're just gonna have a really hard time in the spot lane.
Yeah, I think that on the other side, Mythic Reborn, their bot lane obviously is just trying to survive through the lane phase. They're going to get utility as the game goes on. It'll be interesting to watch the build from Pico, but whatever the case, it's going to be somewhat supportive. They're putting a lot of stock into Frost and WCat this game. WCat able to get the counter pick. We'll see if that ends up meaning that some kills go down in lane, or if it's just going to be a big CS advantage. Ooh, gank coming in from Woshi Garvin.
Yeah, he's doing it one more time. The Pico's got nowhere to go, and they've got this wave prepped as well. And Pico trying to clear out the wave is only going to smell death for them right here as Rel barcode is just stuck underneath the turret right now. They're trying to answer from the mid lane, but man, it's just way too far gone in the spot lane right now as Pico teleports back, crash down, looking for Matthew Bobo here, but going to be able to answer that fairly well. Not going to be able to get a return kill anytime soon.
Yeah, with the first Drake coming up in about 45 seconds, it looks like Woshi Garden's thinking about that. Gonna get some prio in the bot lane.
Yeah, they've gotten engaged down into the bot lane here. Might be able to find something on a Ghost. She's taken incredibly low, and Ignite is taken as well. But Frost on the backside here is going to go down to Woshi Garvin as up in the top lane. Lolo looking to try to get away from AFK Shadow. Dodges the spear back into the mini-Gnar form, but not going to be able to hop away this time. AFK Shadow finds a kill up in the top lane for nearly 5 minutes in, and this game is just as brawly as it was in game number 1.
Yeah, maybe even more so. The Ignite as the summoner spell choice from AFK Shadow, able to find some purchase here, able to get the early gold lead in the top lane, able to get a pretty decent CS advantage as well, and now with a preferable back, it looks like it's going to be
Yeah, for sure. As now we're man, a 1.8 gold lead at this stage is just insane, right? And we're seeing kind of just it across the scoreboard as well. Seraphine not truly able to farm down in the bottom lanes, down nearly a wave and a half of CS And, you know, we're seeing a wave of difference in Anivia versus Silas. We're seeing some CS differences between Pantheon and Gnar as well. This is just, not only are the kills stacking up in the red team's favor, but the CS is as well. And that is really the nail in the coffin for this early
That
game.
could be a problem. I think that the side of Asian Invasion, they were able to close it out pretty cleanly by getting those resources on the back end of a lot of their early kills. They were able to stack up their advantages wisely, and that was what led to them being, you know, they were going to be ahead by a little bit, but they were up by like 3.5k gold, and then they were able to continue stacking more kills off of it.
Yeah, as we now see the continued
That's what goes out loud.
we're now seeing the continued oppression down in the bottom lane here by Asian Invasion. They're not able to even approach this wave just because how much damage this Varus has. And starting off with the Serrated Dirk, this is a real good item against this team who's not very tanky. And Lolo up in the top lane here gets bursted down by AFK Shadow. It's taken really low, but it doesn't seem like Graves is able to... What? Oh, they used the ultimate to get out. I was like, for a second, I was like, why did they just disappear from the minimap?
Really clever play there by AFK Shadow, able to get out alive after getting the solo kill, so the gank completely fails in the top lane. And that just means that it's going to spell disaster for Lolo. Now down 2 kills, almost getting doubled up in the CS as well.
Yeah, they're going to be able to land the stun on the Matthew Bobo here, and they're dealing a decent chunk of damage, but they're not able to seal the deal. And now Barcode is going to be forced to back one more time, and this is going to give more lane advantage. Ooh, 2 Asian Invasion. You're flashing over the wall, looking for a cheeky kill there, but not going to be able to find it. There's the punish from Barcode. They're going to be able to find something good for themselves there. As, man, this is just looking real tough for this bot lane here.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to feel bad to just get poked out like that, but at the same time, I think that when you're the side of Asian Invasion, you don't need to go for plays like that. You're already going to be ahead even if you don't pick up a kill there, but now you're just giving kills back over, and that's just gold that's going in the pockets of Mythic Reborn. And the more gold that goes over into Mythic Reborn, the less meaningful the early advantage that they currently have becomes.
Yeah, it's now Mythic Frost looking to try to get away from Moshi Garvin here. Is level 6. That's going to be Chains of Corruption going wide here, but Frost looking pretty low. Gonna have to back away as the red team once again gets priority in this bottom lane.
Yeah, and giving over that 1 kill isn't going to change things so quickly, and the poke is still raining down very effectively from this bot lane. I think that right now there's 3 lanes of priority for Asian Invasion, and that's the mark of a very strong early game, is just getting those 3 lanes of prio. They can look to get some of these objectives, though they haven't gone for the Drake just yet. The Rift Herald's available, they could use that to get some more gold, but they're already expanding the gold lead to over 3,000 just with the kills and CS advantages.
Yeah, and that's kind of the big thing for me, right? These kills are going to get you gold, but what's going to keep you ahead is the CS. Is now WCAT in the mid lane tasting some trouble here, throws out the Blizzard to maybe give them some space to be able to live this time after spending Flash as well, but knowing Moshi Garvin is probably going to be a return time soon.
Yeah, I think the Agnivia form is definitely getting a lot of value. Just by the threat of it being there, it's like if you dive under the tower, the best that you're going to do is proc the passive. Not worthwhile. Oh, WCAT maybe with the opportunity to look towards Hong Kong player, but not going for the all-in just yet.
Yeah, it's not looking so great. Barcode looking for Matthew Bobo down in the bot lane. That's going to be the crash down coming down on the backside here. That's going to be, ooh, Magnet Storm spent as well as the Seraphine ultimate. So 2 ults trying to find the kill onto Karma down in the bot lane here. He's going to be able to give some breathing room to the blue team here to maybe catch up in terms of gold, but this lead that Asian Invasion has been amassing here is already pretty sizable. We're looking at 2.3 thousand in the lead right now. This is a real big lead for their team.
Yeah, and getting this dragon is probably the biggest benefit of getting that pick in the bot lane, getting priority over the bot side river. That means that all of a sudden the first Drake goes over to Mythic Reborn. They're going to be in a much more defensible position as the game continues because of it.
Yeah, don't does have that Agnivia available, and they've already dove pretty far past them here. So they're going to take Hong Kong player to below half HP as Frost and Barcode make their way out. They weren't able to secure the kill onto Anivia, but Anivia is making their way down towards Silas down there, or Varus rather. So they're looking for the kill onto Silas here. Agnivia is going to go down. Ghosh is going to be able to find that kill there. Eco can throw out some damage, but can't really get a return kill here. As man, this is just looking real bad. Lolo throws Shadow underneath the turret here. Might be able to get some burst damage here, but not able to truly match how much this lethality Pantheon is just dealing to this Gnar up in the top lane.
Yeah, Frost is going to look for a gank here, but AFK Shadow very strong right now. Going to be tough to take down.
Yeah, they're looking for it here, but Lolo not able to fully answer or help out with that gank just quite yet. Not gonna be able to help out there. So AFK Shadow gonna be able to get away. As they're looking for something down to the bot lane, maybe? No, they're just looking to try clear out this wave down.
Yeah, getting some extra plates, and things are just going good for Asian Invasion. They're right back in the same spot they were in game number 1.
Yeah, Lolo here, but not exactly in the same position as he's gonna use the Dragon's Descent in order to get away, or excuse me, that's gonna be the Grand Starfall in order to get away from the Graves, besides getting out underneath turret. So yeah, like you said, this is looking a very similar position that Asian Invasion was in game number 1, and now they're just up 4.6 thousand gold here. They're gonna pop this this Rift Herald here down for this final plate and gonna be able to secure first turret for sure.
Yeah, this is just what they did last game. They got the first turret in the bot lane. They used range advantages. Asian Invasion, I didn't give enough credit to their team comp last game, apparently. But this game, they've showed that they are doing the exact same things, which means that they have the exact same style of play. They get a second charge off the Rift Herald. They're going to be able to put down more poke in the bot lane as well. It's just things going well all around the Rift, and it's starting to look pretty grim for Mythic Reborn. What do they need to do to get back in this game?
I mean, stemming the bleeding is not enough anymore because the bleeding is happening too bad here. Is that's going to be the Magnet Storm onto Hong Kong player here. Throws out the Seraphine ultimate, but not going to land. So is Pico going to be the one finding the kill underneath the top lane here? And this is what they need to do. Mythic Reborn has shown that their jungler and their mid laner likes to take dives underneath turrets a lot. If you can put your team together, gather defensive warding, and be able to punish them hard for these greedy plays, then that's your path to victory back into this game, right? We're seeing it in the top lane, we're seeing it in the mid, we're seeing it in the jungle, right? They like to turret dive, taking lots of lethality early. Punish them with your CC, right? We see an Anivia, we see a Seraphine, we see a Rel, even Gnar to a degree has some of it. Make sure you're using it to your advantage, right? Punish these dives hard because you can't stem the bleeding anymore. You're down 5.5 thousand gold. At this stage, it's looking for comeback gold.
Yeah, gonna be looking for some picks potentially, and punishing over aggression. That sounds like a good recipe for success. But I think that we're going to have to start seeing some good team fights come out as well. The Leandry's now complete for Pico. That's going to help with some of the wave clear, help the game get stalled out a little bit. They did collect that first dragon, and the second one isn't coming up until after 15 minutes in the game. That means that they can delay soul pretty effectively as well. And that seems to me to be the last hope that they have.
Yeah, Ghosh here caught up in the mid lane and through that Magnet Storm. That's going to be a shutdown for Anivia in the mid lane here. And that's going to get them just a little bit closer. But the gold gap is still huge. 5.2 thousand gold in the lead is Asian Invasion. And yeah, this is going to be some time for Mythic Reborn to get back in the driver's seat as best they can. Because I definitely think that with their team composition, they'll scale a little bit better. But Hong Kong player, oh no, as the full burst onto Lolo down in the bot lane.
Lolo's just getting bullied this game. 4 deaths now on the Gnar. getting almost flame horizoned at 15 minutes. I mean, things are tough. It's not Lolo's fault really. I mean, AFK Shadow got like one solo kill, but I think that it's been more a system of not getting any help from the rest of the team, being under fire from different angles, and I think that for the whole of Mythic Reborn, they need to find ways uh, to counteract some of the map pressure that's being put down, and they need to get up some wards. It's been pretty difficult for them to keep wards up. That they haven't been able to track Woshu Garvin throughout the series, but that's kind of what they need to do to avoid leaking out all of the advantages that they're gaining with the picks that they are getting.
Yeah, and now we're seeing Ghosh and Matthew Bobo here. Just, ooh, Woshi Garvin looking for Frost over the wall. And like you said, they don't have any vision on that horse there, and Mythic Frost is going to be bursted down. Onslaught of Shadow is going to be the one sealing the deal as Lolo forced to hop away. Nearly has that Mega Gnar ready to go if they want to push this fight. Looks like they're just going to have to let Hecarim go because he just is way too fast.
Yeah, way too fast and way too powerful right now. Already an item and a half.
Ooh. Seraphine ultimate across here. Magnet Storm as well. Going to be able to find Matthew Bobo here. Once again, no, they're finding these advantages, but not really able, finding these kills, but not really able to convert it into anything because look at how much they had to give up in order to do that. So much damage onto this bot lane turret and this top tier 1.
Yeah. So just more gold going over to Asian Invasion. Once again, we're in this situation where the kill score 8-6, not too much in favor of one side or the other, but the gold lead is just massive now, over 7,000. It's going to be Rift Herald as well. It's going to be this bot tier 2 not too long from now, I think, and it's just starting to get out of hand. I think that Asian Invasion playing a lot better than their seeding. I think that Asian Invasion is going to be one of the better teams throughout this Ionia bracket.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they are so far ahead right now, and their builds are able to complement it as well. Look at how much lethality they've built, and look at how much armor just the other team just does not have, right? There is only one armor item, or I guess two, built on the whole team here. Is now Frost caught out by Woshi Garvin, but here's going to be the flash crash down by Barcode here, diving onto Woshi Garvin. There's going to be the Magnet Storm, but there's not a whole lot of follow-up. They go golden, but here's 4v1, 5v1 onto the Rel, nowhere to go. Mythic Reborn crumbling before Asian Invasion.
Yeah, another invade comes out success. WCat gonna be alright for now because of the Agnivia once again, but still not able to find anything trading back. I think if Asian Invasion just had like 3 of their members build Guardian Angels right now, that would be the most devastating of all time. Like,
Yeah.
how are you supposed to kill them already? But on the off chance that you killed them, if they had a Guardian Angel on top of it, that would just be so crushing.
Yeah. I remember there was a world championship where a team had gotten ahead that the Graves had built both an Edge of Night and a Quicksilver Sash, and the enemy team is so much CC, and they just couldn't lock him down because he just cleansed everything off. So now Hong Kong player looking to get pretty low here. The slow is good, but here comes the Onslaught of Shadows. Going to knock Mythic Frost close, but the collateral damage is not going to finish off Hong Kong player. As Woshi Garvin actually goes down here. Frost going to be able to find that kill here, but here comes Ghosh and Matthew Bobo still trying to find the kill onto Hong Kong player here, or at least zone him out of the fight. That's going to be the Seraphine ultimate coming across, and this might be a good fight for Mythic Reborn here. Mythic Pico is going to be the one finding the kill there as Matthew Bobo trying to run away, has that shield to give them some movement speed, but here comes the rest of the team. They're way too slow. They can't keep up with this Karma. Will be able to get away here. Yeah, looks like they're going to be able to get away. 2 kills for themselves and some shutdown gold as well, but this gold lead is still 7,000 in favor of Asian Invasion.
Well, you got to start somewhere, so that's a good couple of picks, a good team fight. You can almost call that one a team fight at least. There were like 4 members of each side there. That's not too shabby for team fight numbers. It's not a 5v5, and they didn't like line it up. It was kind of like a pick at the beginning. But I definitely like to see all of the scrapping going on this game. Definitely no lack of that We've seen almost a kill per minute, and I think that these teams going to keep going toe to toe. They're going to keep fighting it out, and we'll see if that's going to be enough for Mythic Reborn to keep themselves in this game and in this series.
Yeah, yeah, I think you said it right. It's really only barely going to keep them in the series. If anything, I feel like these shutdowns and these kills they've been able to get has mostly just kept the gold from increasing any farther than it has, right? We're still looking at 7,000 in the lead for the blue team here, or for the red team rather, for Asian Invasion. And it just doesn't seem like Mythic really has a chance in order to get back into this game, right? They haven't really had waves pushed into their pushed towards them enough for them to farm it out, or enough time to like really slow down the pace of the game, right? They've had so many resources taken away from them by the red team that they can't quite find, something to really get some gold for them. And now they're just losing turret after turret. Mid lane tier 2 and now the bot lane tier 2 and now the mid lane tier 2 go down, and now this top lane tier 2 is also looking threatened by AFK Shadow here.
Yeah, I think AFK Shadow's doing it. He's gonna buy a GA. He's got the stopwatch in inventory, and this is just such a strong spot to be in as a Pantheon. Flame Horizon complete already, up 4,000 gold just in that one lane, and starting to set up towards that ultimate luxury item. Going to be looking to take down the last outer tower. But this game, just a very clean sweep coming through from AFK Shadow in particular, but Asian Invasion doing it pretty cleanly as well, despite giving over a few picks.
Yeah, for sure. Here is now we're looking at 22 minutes into this game, 8.8 or 9,000 should I say gold in the lead. Asian Invasion right now, and oh no, okay, WCat's in some trouble here. Wall and flash. WCat gonna be bursted down, turns into the Agnivia. They got a teleport coming in from Gnar, maybe to punish this dive, but they're already long gone. Hong Kong player gets the Anivia ultimate. The Chain of Corruption comes across. Seraphine ultimate plus Rel is going to keep them inside here for a little bit longer here, but only going to be able to secure one kill as Rel goes down. AFK Shadow on the backside here is going to give some time for the rest of the team to re-engage this fight. But it looks like they're just going to back away and continue to pressure this turret. It's 2 for 1 in favor of the red team here.
It's starting to become a situation where even the best of situations aren't a good situation for Mythic Reborn. I can't imagine a much better engage than that. It's a clean Magnet Storm. It's a clean Encore, landing onto all 4 members that were in the fight, but it's just not enough. The back end of the fight, Ghosh able to land the double kill, and now it's just a matter of closing this one out. Once again, the wave clears there for Mythic Reborn. They can try to stall this one out, but it's becoming more and more difficult not to just get dove under your tower.
Yeah, for sure is now. Oh no, Mythic Frost is in a bad spot here. AFK Shadow just has too much damage. Frost might be able to get away from here and live with the grit stacks he gets as Graves here, but the damage is just way too good. The flash is going to give him the space, but the Q from AFK Shadow is going to secure the deal as the rest of the team is now here to fight. That's going to be Gnar throwing AFK Shadow against the wall, but it's not going to be a whole lot as the rest of the team is just clean sweeping through the blue team right now. Nowhere to go. The damage is too good, and it's a clean sweep ace for Asian Invasion.
Yeah, they don't have enough time to end here, but they should be able to pick up Baron and break the inhib. Looks like the 2-man Baron's going to be the call. I think that they should be able to pull it off because they've got some healing, some life steal going on. They should be all right there, and bringing in Hong Kong player to finish it off. They're going to get that mid lane inhib. They're 1 minute and 40 seconds away from another Infernal Drake coming up, and we'll see if this is going to be the push to end the game.
Yeah, as now we are looking to see if Mythic might be able to find some miracle to turn this around, because we are getting into nearly 14,000 gold in the lead. It's just, man, like if 10,000 was you needed a comedy of errors in order to get back into a stage where you could, maybe turn the game around, 14,000 is like you need another comedy of errors from the red team in order to in order to do the same thing. So it's bleak. It's looking bleak for the blue team right now.
We've seen some pretty big comebacks in history. I know that in the LEC in this past season, they have had a 12,000 goal lead that G2 ended up blowing. So it's always possible to come back. There's no
Yeah.
lead that's insurmountable, but
Hmm.
they will require a lot of throws in order to get in the vicinity of coming back on this one. I'm
Yeah.
in agreement there. They're going to have to accept all of the waves of farm. They're going to need to get up to pretty high levels. They'll probably need the game to last like 45 minutes for them to even have a chance. And what we've seen is Asian Invasion are very good at closing out the game if game one's any indicator.
Yeah, and this might be the last fight right here. They've got the Gnar and Grand Starfall. Seraphine Ultimate comes across to maybe buy some time for Mythic here, but the bot lane is already dead. Mythic Frost is going to be the next to fall. That's going to be the Gnar from Lolo here to maybe gain some time. Onslaught of Shadows underneath the turret. Lolo trying to live for as long as they can. The last-ditch effort from Mythic. They're not clean swept, but that is an ace. This is a Baroned up team. This might be the end of the game.
Yeah, I think it probably should be. They've got the mid wave now. As long as they can clear this one out pretty quickly. They don't have their Varus, so that's unfortunate, but I don't think it's going to matter. They've got plenty of damage dealers to boot. They're going to be up against just the bot lane of Mythic, and it looks like they're calling it a day. And what a series from Asian Invasion. They played this one out super cleanly, and they're going to go on to the next stage, the final stage of the Rumble stage, on a pretty big heater, a 2-game winning streak. They're able to get a win for my red side today. I'm a red side connoisseur, as you know, Shinkari, as
Of
of the
course.
preseason patch. And big credit today from Asian Invasion. The whole team played well. Gauche, AFK, Shadow in that game number 2. Some of the big carries, Woshi, Garvin in game number 1. And I look forward to seeing just how far they can go.
Yeah, it does knock Mythic Reborn down into the lower bracket here, which, we'll see more of as the next week comes through here. But yeah, this is like you said, this is a real big bracket here. So let's see. Asian Mythic Reborn is moving down. They're going to have a bye, it seems, in this first week here. EMU Green, I think. It doesn't say who they're going to be playing here, so I'm not quite sure. But it looks like Asian Invasion might be moving on to face Madison Esports Blue Cheese uh, by the end of next week here. So should be interesting to watch as this, like you said, this is a real big bracket here. 9 members. I think it's the largest bracket. Oh, no, never mind. Noxus has 10. But yeah, this is one of the larger brackets we have here in Season 13. So it'll be interesting to see how this one all plays out. Like you said, Asian Invasion looking very, very strong in this game. And if you're not able to answer a lot of the turret dive things that they have, it might be that much tougher to deal with, this team moving into some of these games later on in the bracket.
Well, hopefully Mythic Reborn don't take the loss too hard. Hopefully they can bounce back. The knockout stage going to be starting up next week, so I think that they're going to have an opportunity. I think, like you said, that they have a bye on next week, so maybe that'll give them some time to practice, get
Hmm.
themselves regrouped, and set themselves up to have success throughout the rest of this tournament. But definitely we're a tier below Asian Invasion today, so they're going to have to step it up if they want to have a chance at winning the championship.
Yeah, for sure. But, that's going to do it from us here. 2 teams came in and only one came out victorious. Asian Invasion is going to be the winner for the featured match on stream today. From myself, the entire live broadcast crew, Tiger58, my co-caster for this match. I was going to say this evening, but it is still AM for me. Um, Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, press that follow button. We have League of Legends action for you to watch nearly every single day. And if you're feeling generous, press that subscribe button as well. It helps out the channel. Really, really bring us help us put together some even better production quality than you see today. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you at the next match. Bye-bye.